If I tell you how fucking great you are and give you an award for being just like you are right now, the chances of you wanting more are slim to none. All right, Closing Nation. I'm going to give it to you straight about sales today, and I'm just going to tell you the truth. You don't get good at sales without doing the reps. I was listening to the Real as Fuck episode with Hormozy on there. And I've known Alex Hormozy for, I guess 10 years ago we were in Frank Kern's mastermind together and have spoke on some of the same stages over the years. And I've never been like a big follower, but I've known his story and spoke with him a lot and maybe know him as a decent acquaintance, right? Just by the way, guys, I say this because I'm not about to shit on Hormozy or anything. It's a great episode. But I just don't want to be that guy that acts like I'm friends with people who I'm not friends with. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, Hormozy's a great friend of mine or blah, blah. Like, because I hate it when people do that to me. Because let's say that I say something that doesn't align with Alex's brand. And then I'm sitting here telling you guys how good a friend I am, and then something happens in between me and him or something like that, or something's bad for his brand, and people are like, oh, and Hormozy's friends with Stewman, and Stewman said this crazy shit, right? That happens to me a lot. People take pictures of me at events, and then they say crazy shit, and then I get lumped in there. I don't have fucking nothing to do with it, right? So I try not to put anybody I try not to pretend to be friends with people I'm not friends with. So this acquaintance that I know Alex Hormozy's on, Andy Frisella, who I do know fairly well, like got his personal phone number, talked to him at least once a week through Instagram or text, actually texted him this morning. So he's somebody that I would consider a friend and a mentor, by the way. And so I'm listening to Andy's podcast because about 10 of my friends recommended me listen to this episode. And so I'm listening to it, and one of the first things that Alex is talking about is sales, and he says you got to do the reps, and Andy goes in there and he's talking about, and by the way, you should listen to that episode, but there's part 1 and part 2, and Andy's talking about everybody should work retail. And it got me to thinking about this episode, okay? Today, a lot of people, they don't want to put in the reps to be a good salesperson. They want to go buy Dan Locke or Grant Cardone or Jordan Belfort's sales program, and they want to go straight to being a high-ticket closer, and they want your best fucking leads to have the best conversations and make all the money right now. Or they go to the bank, and they're like, give me the golden leads. Or they go, here's like, unleash your contacts on me. But until you've put the reps in, you haven't built enough strength to be able to carry yourself in the way that you need to carry yourself in order to close as many sales as you're actually potentially capable of. Now, what I mean by that is one of the biggest, it was a fucking curse at the time, ladies and gentlemen, but one of the biggest blessings that I've got in my life is that I was put to work at 8 years old at a car wash. I started mowing the yard. By the time I was 13, I started selling car washes to people. On average, a day at this car wash would do probably 200 cars, 800 on a busy day, 100 on a slow day that it might rain, right? So 200 cars a day, let's call it. That's 10-hour days. That's 20 cars an hour. So 20 people every hour on the hour I got to talk to. Listen, you ever ate with me, you know I eat fast, right? Like you talk, look up, and my plate is empty. And a lot of times I'll joke and say, oh, it's in prison. You got to eat fast and you hit the table and get up. But the truth is I learned to eat fast at the car wash, which paid dividends in prison. But I learned to eat at the car wash because if it was a busy day, 800 cars, I was the only salesperson. I had to talk to 800 people in a day. I have talked to 1,497 people in one day. That's 183 cars at peak fucking hours that I was talking to a day. I mean, an hour. 183 cars. I did 183 cars in 1 hour. Talked to all 183 of them. That's like a car every fucking 15 seconds I was rolling to with these people. But it gave me the reps. I had the track. I had the script. I knew the fucking thing, blah, blah, blah. I knew what I was doing day in and day out. So at the end of the year, I'm doing 50,000, 60,000 reps having sales conversations with people about a car wash. Now at age 13, did I know that's what I was doing? No, I'm trying to get fucking money so I can buy some Reebok pumps, right? At age 18, did I know what I was doing? Hell no. I was just trying to work my ass off so that nobody caught me selling drugs to all the car wash workers out back, right? Like that was my thought process. But now I look back, it's like I got good at sales because I communicated with so many people. But what's missing today are the reps, right? Because people don't want to answer the phone. They want to do text. They want to do everything through email. They want to do everything through the DMs. And that's fine. I like DMs, texts, and emails too. But I'm able to get good at DMs, texts, and emails. And I'm able to read people by what they say and what they talk in there because I put the reps in real life. You see, sales, the foundation is face-to-face. The foundation is on the phone. The foundation is the connection, looking at the four main things that people communicate with, right? Postures, gestures, facial features, and tonalities, okay? And so that's what our job is as a salesperson, but you don't know this stuff if you haven't put in the reps. Like if I put in the reps and I'm talking to you and I see your face go a certain way, I know what you're thinking. Right? I know I need to change my words because clearly you're thinking, I don't see how that makes sense. I know that look on your face, so I know I need to change my words and elaborate in my next sentence as opposed to going, why don't you sign up? You don't get it? Sign here, right? I know that's not how it works. I learned the communication, right? Postures, gestures, facial features, and tonality. I'm paying attention to this stuff as a salesperson because I put in the reps. I knew when I came up to a Honda Accord at the car wash, the chances of them spending $30 to wax and put tire shine and all that shit on their car was slim to none because that's not in a Honda Accord's budget. But if a Lexus pulled in, they'll spend $20 to $30 to wash that thing once every 2 weeks, right? If a 1988 Ford Tempo pulled in that motherfucker, right, they're going to get the bare minimum cheapest wash you can get. It's probably going to smell like shit and have blunt guts in the back of it. You know what I mean? Where you just ripped out the blunt and just dump it in the back of the fuck. Yeah, so anyway, I've seen a lot of those back in the day. But if somebody came in a brand new, maybe F-150, they might want a $20 car wash because they want to keep it clean. Now, if someone came in a work truck, I know they're getting the minimum. So I had to learn these things, right? And when you're in a car, that is the posture. The posture is, you know, if I'm sitting there face to face, but you're in a car, the posture is what kind of car are you driving, right? Why would I sell you a $100 car wash when it's not a $1,000 car, right? But if you come in driving a Lamborghini, oh shit, hand wash, hand wax, we get the stuff, blah, blah, like I'm going to sell you some higher end stuff. But I got that from the reps. But so many people today, they want to go straight to the top. Everybody's, and we live in sales is no different than kids' sports in 2023. Everybody gets a trophy. Every fucking realtor I have ever met in my life is a top producer. I have never met a realtor in my life that's like, no, man, you know, just a regular realtor. Every fucking one of you motherfuckers is a top producer. And if everybody's a top producer, what does that mean? That's a participation trophy fucking industry, ladies and gentlemen. God damn, I just hurt some feelings, didn't I? But it's true. They're trying to give you these awards and tell you that you're something of significance. Number one's number one, motherfucker. It's that simple, right? When I was the number one loan officer, I was number one in units and volume and paycheck and big nuts, motherfucker. It was no in between. It wasn't like, well, I'm number one superstar in the community and I'm number one in this neighborhood with these people that have this last security number. Like, motherfucker, I would rather be a nothing than a fake ass number one. I'd rather be a bitch than a fake ass number one. I'd rather be bottom hoe on the fucking totem pole than be a fake ass number one. The fuck I want to be the number one realtor in the neighborhood for? What kind of fucking competitions like that? Like out of 200 people, I'm the person that's there. And you might have sold 2 houses in that motherfucker and the rest of the competition just sold 1 and be like, I'm number 1. No, you're a number 2. A shit. That's what it is, right? I'm just being real with you. Because here's what motherfuckers do in sales, okay? Motherfuckers go and they get this fake number 1 title and they get this false sense of fucking, oh, I am number 1, I am good, and they never fucking go on the pursuit of excellence. If I tell you how fucking great you are and give you an award for being just like you are right now, the chances of you wanting more are slim to none. Especially if I give you that same fucking award for mediocre participation annually, year after year. You're the number 1 agent in this neighborhood again. Yeah, fuck that. There's only one number 1. Who's the number 1 in the company? Then who's the number 1 in the fucking market? That's all that matters. Now, how do you get to be number 1? You don't go straight to number 1. I know 0 people who are number 1 at what they do because they just got there. Like, they're just like, well, shit, I came in number 1, motherfucker. That's just like the story that these motherfuckers go around telling. I walked in prison and I just hit the biggest motherfucker in there. That is the biggest fucking lie any cocksucker that's fucking been to the joint fucking tells you. I saw this fucking guy the other day told me, yeah, I walked in and just fucking punched him right in. No, you didn't, bro. No, you fucking didn't. And the reason why I say that is that's the lies that people tell you. You know, they want to perpetuate, oh, so I just show up and I'm number 1. They want you to think that. It's not true. How do you get to be number 1? One deal at a time. Overtime. One deal at a time, overtime. My man Brandon Brittingham, number 1, $400 million in production last year. Number 1 in his state, hands down. Nobody's doing it better. No gray area, no lines, no bullshit like that. He is the man. You know how he got there? Year after year, just a little bit more business. One day you look up and you've beat everybody. But for a long time, you were looking up and somebody was ahead of you. But one day you look up and you're like, oh shit, I passed him. There was a story Cameron Haynes was telling the other day. And Cameron Haynes said he was running this ultra marathon and he passed this guy that he didn't know, a black guy named David Goggins, right? He said David Goggins had his shoes off and his feet were just like atrocious. You ever seen, I picture it like this. You ever seen that episode of Chappelle's Show where Chappelle was the crackhead and he went on Joe Rogan's episode of Fear Factor and they had him walk across the hot coals like Tony Robbins, and then when he gets off he lights that cigarette with his foot and he goes, my feet are strong, Joe Rogan. I figured David's probably looked like that, right? And if you've read David's book, who I know David, you know, again, I'm not going to say that I hang out with him. He's a friend, but we have hung out several times as friends, and I do know him. But I don't want to speak for him. I'll let him decide if I'm a friend or not, because I ain't trying to piss Goggins off, you know what I'm saying? He's like, I ain't that fucking guy's friend. I understand. Right. So anyway, we have hung out, been to Joe Rogan Comedy Show. He coached me for about a year. Great guy. But I imagine his feet probably look like that. But the story is, Cameron, white guy, running, passes guy. It's like, oh, a lot of white people in the ultra marathon deal, right? This guy stands out, pays attention to him, sees his foot. He's like, I'll never see that guy again, you know? Boom. A couple hours later, he gets to a station and he says, hey man, that guy back there, Goggins, what did you is he out? Is he tapped out? And they were like, no, it doesn't show on the thing that he's tapped out. He said about that time, David Goggins came running past him, going, they don't fucking know me. They don't fucking know me. I'm motherfucking Goggins. Like just fucking talking to himself, just screaming, running with these fucked up Tyrone Bigum's fucking feet, the other fucking 50 miles or so of this thing. And Cameron Haynes is like, right then I knew I was going to be friends with that motherfucker. So I tell you that because Goggins, that's putting in the reps. You can't fake that. You know what I mean? He didn't just start by, I'm going to become a Navy SEAL. I know it says that in his book, but you got to realize he trained for that shit. He failed Hell Week a few times and trained in between that. He didn't just start as an ultra marathon runner, man. He had been a SEAL for a while and was looking for that next level in his life. It was almost impossible for him to complete that first race. He completed that first race with like broken feet and shit. It was so fucking bad, right? So I tell you that because that's somebody who's got the reps in. Now back to the story with sales. So many people, they don't want to put the reps in. They don't want to do the face-to-face work. They don't want to go and put in the time that it takes. But you can't learn to communicate with people, which is what sales is, without doing face-to-face time. David Goggins didn't become the fittest man in the world overnight. If you listen to his story, he's like, I used to be fat and fucking out of shape and hated myself and sprayed for fucking cockroaches and was called the N-word by KKK members in my fucking neighborhood. He tells you, he's like, I'm all-time fucking low in my fucking life. And day by day, he changed that. It's the same in sales. You could be horrible at sales right now, and you think, I'm sending emails, I'm sending texts. I don't know what the fucking problem is. Start fucking talking to people. Start shaking hands, fist bumping people, hugging people, take pictures with people, sit down at lunch with people, buy a meal, break bread with somebody. Become a better communicator with your husband or wife. Become a better communicator with your kids. Make it your job every day to become a better communicator with everybody that you communicate to. Try to become a person of influence that's not manipulative, but persuasive. A person that can get their point across, that can catch, that the counterpart, the person listening to that conversation, can catch that conversation, clearly understand, and either respond or take action based on what you're doing. That's what you're working on every single day, and you're not going to get that hiding behind a screen. You're not going to get that experience. You think, how did Grant Cardone get so good at sales? I got fish. He tells you that story. He used to go around face-to-face selling people fish. Then he sold people face-to-face cars. And he, if you watch his old videos on the phone all the time, same with me. How did I get good? The car wash, the mortgages, the meetings. If you go and you Google on YouTube, one of my 5,000 videos, I've got hundreds of videos where I'm just sitting on there doing sales calls all day long. Be eating pizza, smoking the bong, doing fucking sales calls all day long. I got tons of old videos of me doing that shit where you see me putting in the fucking reps. So you want to get good. You want to be a sales legend, a Ryan Stewman, a Grant Cardone, somebody, Jordan Belfort, somebody like that. You got to put in the reps. Even Jordan, you see the Wolf of Wall Street, they're making calls every day. And at some point, those calls caught up to them, meaning that they caught momentum and they got rich. It ultimately didn't end well for them, but that's how it worked. Put in the reps. So if you're right now, you're wondering how you can get better at sales, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not buying my program. It's not buying Grant's program. It's not buying Jordan's program. It's not reading our books. It's just going out there, having conversations, and doing the reps. Now, will our programs help you? Absolutely. And I always find it funny that I don't mind mentioning other people's programs. Don't nobody ever tell you that you should buy my shit. Hating ass motherfuckers. Only one of us got abundance in our mindset. I'm just saying. But back to the point, you don't need our shit. I'd like for you to buy it. If you're going to choose the three, choose me. I'd like for you to buy my shit. But the reality is, the way to get good at sales is just go put in the fucking work and do the reps. Get told no enough to where you learn how to get a yes. Rise above.